To get started here, I'm joined by two more members of the team. You just met Laura, and we also have on the call Derek, who runs revenue for us. Derek?
Hey, yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Derek Nelson here, VP of Revenue. I'm located out of the Bay Area. I've been here with Wellness Coach for just over 3 years. Love what we're doing, running SaaS sales teams and sales organizations, mainly in wellness here for about 20 years in the Bay. Super excited for you to join us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Derek, and he'll be joining us for the Q&A session later today. And I am D. Sharma, one of the founders of Wellness Coach. Some of you guys know me. This is my fourth startup. Last few have been in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And this one, we're bringing AI and healthcare together, which I believe is critical to generate the ROI needed. And today we're going to talk about how we do it. Super exciting day. Thanks for joining again. So before we get into the case study that we did with the national carrier, I want to just share my personal story. Last year, I got my labs and I don't even like sugar. I don't even eat sweets, desserts, and it turns out I had A1C of 6.4, which is not just pre-diabetic, but getting close to diabetic. And that was a quite a bit alarming. I then did some research around the space, and we most of us know these stats, but they're pretty mind-blowing that one in three have pre-diabetes, but more importantly, 80% of us don't even know about it. And why is this important to know about pre-diabetes? Because that's how it becomes diabetes. So 6.5 A1C and up is diabetic. And then diabetes leads to a lot of comorbidities. So if you're thinking in terms of, healthcare costs and, saving money, managing pre-diabetes is very inexpensive compared to diabetes, which is a few $1,000s compared to comorbidities, which is tens of thousands of dollars. How did I work on my diabetes reversal? We have a capability on Wellness Coach app where you can just take a photo of what you're eating and we'll track that against your health goals and health conditions. So for me, it was basically taking pictures of my meal and learning something I did not want to know, which is my love for sourdough bread. I lived in San Francisco for a few years and I fell in love with sourdough, and that was my routine every morning for breakfast. And it was not just sourdough, but also sourdough combined with my love for basmati rice, which is also the long grain white rice. And it was more just education in terms of understanding how the white breads and white rice essentially has so much sugar in it. And then what did I do about it? In Wellness Coach, you can just take a photo of the meal, you can understand its composition, and then compare that towards your health condition. So mine A1C, that was 6.4. I used it on a daily basis to make just very two simple changes. First, I've switched from sourdough bread to multigrain bread, and we haven't bought sourdough bread in a long time. My wife, I think, is on the call. You can ask her. And then we basically switched to brown rice from white rice, and that's it. My A1C dropped from 6.4 to 5.7 to 5.4, and all of that without any medication, any crazy, programming. Very simple behavior change. At this point, I just want to give you a quick preview of how that works. So this morning I had a little egg white burrito. I didn't have a lot of time, so I just had a pre-made burrito, and then it gave me a score of 72. But because the burrito also has a white tortilla, the AI is telling me to switch to a whole wheat tortilla. And you can just see how simple that is. Take a photo, get the changes or food swaps, and reward yourself for that. And there you go, behavior change. Now let's focus on prevention, not just for myself, but for the whole organization. What can we do for the whole organization? So let's talk about the case study. So we've had a partnership with one of the largest insurance companies in the country, where one of their clients, which is over 10,000 employees, has been using Wellness Coach for about 3 years now. The beautiful thing about having a partnership with a payer is you get to see the claims. You get to see the cost of the claims. So we essentially have been running this for 3 years, and we ran a test. This test was done in December of 25, so just the end of last year. That's why the data just came out. And the test was for 2 years, 2023, 2024. Members who used Wellness Coach, members who didn't use Wellness Coach. What was the impact of claims, claims cost, and behavior? So let's dive into that. And at this, as we go through this, feel free to ask questions. We'll just queue the questions so we can essentially start answering the questions as we go, or we can answer the questions in the end as well. Okay. So first off, the members who did not use Wellness Coach at all, their insurance costs went up, their claims costs went up. Those who use Wellness Coach, as predicted, should go down because they are taking care of themselves. So their costs definitely did go down. The numbers were staggering, though. Those who didn't use Wellness Coach, the increase in healthcare insurance claims was 33%. And if you dig deeper into what caused the increases, mostly they were going to the hospitals more, which is ER, and they were doing a lot more inpatient. We also noticed that their use of telehealth preventative care was near zero. So they essentially were not using prevention, they were focusing on cure. Now, those who use Wellness Coach, their actually healthcare claims costs dropped by 13%, which, when we first got the data from the payer, they didn't believe it, and we don't believe it. It's pretty staggering. We dig into why this happened, and there were a few key factors. One was that the ER visits dropped by 40%. So they were using, emergency rooms visit less. They were doing hospitalizations less. What we also saw was their use of telehealth, prescriptions, and prevention went up dramatically, which is exactly the behavior the insurance company wants to see. Now, what behavior changed for this to happen? Because we want to see that did behavior change or was this their normal behavior? Well, we saw a pretty interesting behavior change in these members. First of all, what was the program setup to make the behavior change? The program setup was we essentially have a gamified reward system for this client. The gamification works as follows. You walk 5,000 steps a day, you get X amount of points, let's say 5 points. You walk 7,000, you get 10 points. You walk 10,000 steps, you get 15 points. So there's escalation of points based on how many more steps you walk. And we can all agree if you can get people to walk, well, that starts a pretty healthy, behavior change regimen. On average, we saw members, those who use Wellness Coach, were walking 3,000 steps more, which I think is pretty incredible. Not just they were walking more, they were earning the rewards, but also they were booking primary care more, they were booking coaching more, and they were on more on prevention. So all of this sort of came together, which then really the impact of this is not really how do how do you drop healthcare costs? Well, you have to change behavior. How do you change behavior? You gamify rewards and you slowly get behavior change. So there's two things we've seen so far. First, we saw that how did I change my pre-diabetes? It was really doing a couple of meal swaps. And then how do we change behavior for a large population? And that's really, a gamified reward system that rewards behavior change. Now, a little bit, so let me pause here. Any questions that we can answer? I see, Derek, you want to come online as well?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Great question about how can I get access to the Wellness Coach app. Yeah, so we do work through companies to sell to the organizations, but being on the call, if you'd like access, we'd love to share a trial and access with you. So you can email us. I'll put an email in the link, just sales@wellnesscoach.live, and we will get you access if you'd like.
And shortly here, we'll share the QR code to book a demo with Derek and also to download the app and get access. There's another question. Were there any links between the use of GLP-1s and decrease in claims? Unfortunately, for this study, no, because the GLP-1s were not included as far as my knowledge for that employer. Okay, thanks for asking. So a bit about Wellness Coach and why, I think one of the really important things I've learned in the last few years of in this business is engaging in members is really, really the most important thing. If you can't get them to engage, well, you can't get them to use all the solutions that you're providing them. And we've consistently have an engagement of over 50%. In fact, we have our client Banner Bank here, which has even higher engagement. So Brooke can chime in if she wants to, not putting you on the spot. But really, how we get such high engagement is through having many point solutions built into one. We have walking challenges, mental health challenges. We just did a May mental health challenge all last month, and we do community engagement throughout the year. We have hundreds of coaches available globally across 15 categories, be it physical therapy, mental health, parenting, fertility, what have you. Rewards being a big part of it, rewarding members on the platform itself for the behavior change, logging meals just through taking photos. This example that I was saying, which is this is so easy. I just click a button on the right of my iPhone, and here's a camera, and I can just take a photo. It's like takes a couple of seconds, and I think everything has to be easy, I believe, for people to really can create a habit. On nutrition, another thing I want to mention is we see people taking 10 to 20 photos a day. It's becoming pretty incredible how much people love, learning about their meals. It's beautiful to see. So bringing everything together is key, and telling your employees, hey, just go to Wellness Coach for all of these services has been a big way to get the engagement. But a big product we're about to launch, and those who are our customers on the call and you haven't seen it, we're going to do a quick 2-minute demo today about care plans. So once you have all this, assets, the members, what they're eating, how much calories they're burning, can you really create a care plan for them to get to their goals? So that's care plan is being launched this month. It's coming out. So we're very excited about it. We've been working very hard on that product, and you'll see a couple of minutes of demo on how that works. The other reason we see incredibly high engagement is because we are built into Microsoft Teams. In fact, if you go on Teams and you type Wellness Coach, you can download our app. We're actually the number one health app on Microsoft Teams. Same is the true for Slack and Zoom. And then lastly, we have customers that are all over the world. So we are the only company that supports 125 languages, not just for navigating the app, but also for content and videos. We are SOC 2 compliant and HIPAA compliant as we are collecting lab data, health data. We're proud to be a secure and trusted source for you. And we get a lot of love from our clients and users. If you go to G2, we are one of the top apps in 2026, and we have thousands of positive ratings on Apple and Android. Here's the QR code Derek was mentioning. So on the left, if you scan the QR code, you get to spend time with Derek and team on a personal demo. In fact, the platform is so advanced, we can configure your primary care facility, your MSK providers, your mental health providers, all into a single care plan demo. So, excited to show you how that works. Oh, look at that. Brooke is just mentioning that there's a 3-week company walking challenge starting on Sunday. Awesome. Congrats. Thanks for sharing, Brooke. And then on the right, if you wanted to play with the ROI calculator, so I'm going to give you a quick preview of the ROI calculator. Once you scan the QR code, I'll go back to that in a second. You can essentially put the information around your team size, average salaries, what you're spending today, average age, and what increase you had this year. And then we can basically show you, what that will mean in terms of savings. This basically calculator is coming straight off the actual case study. So we're exactly the same numbers, and then these variables are for you to adjust. And if you have any questions on the ROI calculator, we'd love to look at that. The ROI calculator is really great. Thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing that. Here's the calculator on the right. So I'll stop here for a second if you guys want to just use your phones to. Oh, there we go. We got the links on the chat as well.
And
All
Dee,
right, next. Yeah, yeah.
as
Go
you're
ahead.
pausing there, there's been a couple questions come in that I think probably worth. There was a question, are there any links between GLP-1s and a decrease in claims cost?
Yeah, so I had answered that. Derek was on the study. We didn't see any because the client was not paying for GLP-1s. But anything else you want to add, Derek?
No, sorry, I didn't realize I missed it. Sorry. And did you already answer the one with work with seniors?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So yes, it should work with seniors as well. With this platform, not only does everybody get a license when they sign up with the wellness coach, but they also get 5 licenses they can share with friends and family. So yeah, regardless of age, should work for folks.
I gotta tell you, my mother loves whenever I show her how healthy her food is by taking photos of the meals. This is really super to share with your family. Derek, there's another question you want to
Yep, absolutely. So also the question, the Q&A came, Wellness Coach app, how can I take pictures like you're showing? So again, that comes with our standard access. It's our nutrition in there. So if you have access to Wellness Coach already, you should be able to utilize it. It should be, if it's not, let us know if it's not on part of your plan, but I believe everybody has access to it at this point, all our new and existing clients. But then if you don't have access, feel free to email us at the sales at wellnesscoach.live, or you can scan this to book a demo and we'll make sure to give you access so you can play around with it.
Thank you, Derek. All right, now let's show you a short 2-minute video around the future of care. What we've shown you so far is how we got to the ROI with purely behavior change. But what if we could tell you that we're going to have a much higher ROI for everybody when we can get your members to their health goals? So let's spend a couple minutes on this, and I'll be happy to answer any questions around that as well.
You've got your lab results, you've got your diagnosis. Now what? Wellness Coach is your next step, a 100% personalized companion that turns those results into real life success. We connect every team member with expert one-to-one coaches across the areas that matter most, like stress management, weight loss, sleep, and more. If our AI identifies a high-risk scenario, they're immediately escalated to care services. Meet Sophie. Sophie uploads her lab test results, and from there, she sets her personalized goals. I want to lower my A1C and lose 6 pounds in the next 2 months. That's where her AI care plan goes to work. Based on her goals, Sophie is matched with a coach who specializes in exactly what she's working on. Her coach becomes her long-term guidance. They analyze her data, assess her progress, and recommend the right next steps. The AI care plan also sets daily goals, like reaching nutrition targets by logging her meals with our photo-based tracker, steps, sleep hours, mindful minutes, and more. Each week, the plan recalibrates based on how she's actually been hitting those goals, adapting to her real life. All of that data can be shared seamlessly to her one-on-one coach, giving them a clear view of her day-to-day habits. Upload your results, set your goals, and get the long-term support you need.
Ever since we started working on Wellness Coach, our hope was to have a
You've
personalized.
got your lab results, you've got your diagnosis.
Go to the next screen. Ever since we started Wellness Coach, our hope has been to create a personalized home screen where Wellness Coach talks to you, personalized to you, to your needs, and that's what the care plan is going to do. It's going to be based on your goals, your needs, and the best part, as AI has become so advanced, that if somebody is being guided to walk 6,000 steps a day and they're doing 4,000 steps, instead of increasing the steps the next week, we're going to reduce it to meet the person where they are and extend the time frame for the goal maybe. But it's fully adaptive. It learns what you eat. For me, I eat a lot of kinds of foods, and my meal recommendation is the kinds of food I eat. And so it's really, really advanced. And then, the other thing is if you have third-party services like an MSK provider, therapy provider, the care plan will extend to not just internal wellness coach resources, but also any third-party resources you have. Our hope is to get utilization high for everything you have as a company, not just what Wellness Coach has. But ultimately, the North Star for Wellness Coach has always been to make our members healthier and happier. And we believe the care plan is going to do a lot of that. That's the presentation. We are at 23 minutes in. We have plenty of time. So let's open up for Q&A. Derek, you want to come back?
Yep, here we are.
So I see a question from Janan Kohal. Will the care module be available to existing clients or will be add-on? I got good news to share, Janan. We are going to include care plan for all existing customers at no extra charge. And if you've been a client for a while, you know that's how we roll. And then I see Brooke and Jane commenting here. Yeah, and then the rollout schedule, it'll be available this month. By the way, it's approved by Apple App Store and all the stores. We're just getting our marketing material in shape, so you can share it with the teams. I don't know if our care executive Carrie is here or not. Sorry, our customer success executive. But the rollout schedule will be shared by your CSs shortly. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Jen, and if you want some access to it, just email me. I know we've worked together for, so we can get you some access early if you'd like.
There's a question around, is this appropriate for individual clinicians? I love that question. You know what? I wasn't going to share today, but I will since you guys are here. Part of the care plan will be sharing all of the, health data, your sleep, your nutrition, or anything you want to share with your coach or clinician. So I'm going to show real quick here. If I go under personal coaching, this is kind of how the platform works. Let's say I want to work on weight management and I want to book a coach. I'll just do the demo to show you how this works. I'm going to pick a date in the future and book a session. Now, what we've actually enabled is the consent and privacy. So each member can say what they want to share with their coach or clinicians. And it is up to the member and it's completely privacy safe and secure. But let's say if I say enable all and I authorize, wellness coach and the coach or clinician to have that data, boom, that's it. That's all they have to do. And then next time you have your coaching session, essentially you'll sorry, I must share the screen again. Your coach will know if you were lying or you're truly changing your habits because when you could be saying, hey, you haven't had sourdough in a while, and turns out all the foods are logging sourdough bread. So that's why we're enabling it. We're super proud and excited about that launch coming with the care plan.
One other fun comment there, for those that have been clients for a while, what Dee was showing on is our light mode now too. So if you haven't seen, we have dark and light mode now on the platform. So a new thing that we just rolled out.
Any other questions we can help with? Any personal, health challenges you guys want to focus on? I'm happy to answer some of those questions. Great question, Nicole. The question is, what are the qualifications around the coaches or clinicians that we have on the platform? So it's very easy. You guys, when you book a coach, everybody's qualifications are right there itself. So if I, let's say, want to book Coach Tessa, she's a certified nutritionist, board certified holistic, healthcare practitioner. But if I, based on what category of coaching that I want, so if I, let's say, go here, and this is a finance coach, so she's accredited financial counselor. So each coach has qualifications for their specialization. Derek, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the as far as the 125 languages is amazing for us to be able to do that. We leverage a lot of AI translation services to be able to localize into those areas, and then our AI nutrition capture can capture foods of any cultural food choices. So I think all of us have different preferences, and we are a global company in nature. A lot of global clients. It's extremely hard to trick our our nutrition capture, but it should work from a global workforce and those goals and cultural relevance there as well.
Laura here. I would like to add to this. So, my background, I'm from El Salvador in Central America. We have this meal called pupusas, and I was shocked how when I took a photo of it, it will just identify all of the meals that I love from back home. So, yeah, answering that, our AI is very smart on identifying foods around the world.
I have a funny story to add to that, Laura. I was at a client meeting. There was somebody from Philippines, and she didn't know what she had made for lunch. So she's like, "Can you tell me what I made for lunch?" And I took a photo, and it was some beef stew. So she's like, "Oh, I forgot it. That's what I made." So if you're clueless about what you made, you can use the AI nutrition for that too. So as just to wrap things up, I know we'll have a recording of this that you guys can share internally. And Laura, any other parting thoughts on just the next steps?
Yes, so for our clients that joined, thank you so much for your support. Everybody's going to receive a recording in the next 48 hours to your emails with the slides and again, the recording. For any new people that joined, also, we are so grateful for taking the time. We know we're all busy, so we try to be mindful about your time too. And we invite you guys to book a demo, try the RO calculator. You can always visit our website where you can book a demo at any time. And thank you for joining.
And lastly, I'll just say